Good evening and welcome to the MindMesh podcast. My name's Chayton.
And I'm Fish.
And we have you want to take it? I mean, you want to flip a coin? What the fuck do you want to do? What's going on?
I can take
We've
it.
already lost our YouTube revenue because I just swore in the first 10 seconds. What's going on?
It's okay. We have other platforms. Our guest today.
Yeah, introduce him.
Is I'm gonna let him introduce himself. We have a guest today.
We have a guest. But that doesn't mean he can introduce himself.
Yes, it does.
No, we have a segment. We have a special segment.
Oh, he can introduce himself. It's okay.
Oh my goodness. You're just trying to ruin a MindMesh staple we've only done once. So what's up? Who are you? Tell us about yourself.
How you doing, world? It's Coffee.
Yeah.
Coming straight out of Nashville.
Yeah.
Originally from Memphis.
Yeah.
And I'm here to hold it down on the MindMesh, you know?
That's good.
What do you do?
That's quick, yeah.
Like,
tell us about your life.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah.
Tell us about when you were born.
How
did it feel to come out of the womb?
Stop. You're overwhelming the boy.
Atlanta. Slippery. But yeah, I rap. I illustrate. Yeah. That's typically what I do. So I want to do like album covers for artists and stuff. Mainly me. Because I don't feel like doing work for other people right now. Because I'm focusing on my career.
So you're saying that you also do music?
Yeah.
Yes. And I do music. And I combine the two to try,
make something unique.
Make something unique. Show the world what's going on with good old Cough Dog.
I get that. That's nice. I like that. Now, knowing that you are an illustrator and a musician, we're not going to talk about either of those.
Yeah.
That's just how we do. Whenever we have a guest, we learn what they do, and then we go to the opposite end of the spectrum.
This is also another reason this is a special podcast.
Okay. Oh, yeah. We're also technically in 2020.
Yeah, this will be the first podcast
of 2020.
Yeah.
Really weird to think about that.
Hey.
Yeah, what's up?
What up, Future? Just
Speaking of that...
Bro, you're spoiling what we're talking about. Be quiet. Oh, my goodness. Before we can get to the future, we have to talk about automobiles, vehicles, if you will.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about, baby.
Now, okay, we'll say this. The reason that we invited Coffee onto the podcast for tonight is me and Fish came up with the topic of just cars, vehicles in general, and we came to the realization that
we know nothing about cars.
Yeah, we know nothing about this stuff.
Absolutely nothing.
And then we brought up this topic to Coffee, and he literally came in talking nonsense about cars and vehicles. He was like, man, I can talk about an engine like no other, and just starts jabbering off. And me and Fish
he could fix anything.
No clue. He said if you gave him a car that was absolutely broken down, like he told us if you brought him a car that has no engine in it, he could fix it where it would run.
He said with Lego parts.
Yeah, with Legos. That was great. That's what blew me away.
Hold on. He said he blew me away. He could also use Mega Blocks.
I feel. Well, I mean, if you buy the certain Mega Blocks, they are compatible with Lego, so I understand.
I'm feeling a little double teamed here. Like, I don't recall telling either one of you this.
What are you talking about? You can't build a combustion engine out of fucking Legos?
I mean, like, no. Like, who the fuck could?
Have you not seen the fucking the master builders? I've seen them build cars. It was like what, E3 like 2 years ago? Lego built a Bugatti out of Legos for the Microsoft event.
Wait, did they really? I didn't know that was a thing.
It was like a special what's the Lego movie? They were doing a special thing for the Lego movie 2.
Oh.
So they released DLC for Forza where they put in a bunch of Lego cars. So to do that,
didn't they just make a Lego Forza game?
Well, no. Well, kind of. So it was weird, but
they
Microsoft
got a Lego Forza's game?
No, but for Microsoft for the past 5 or 6 years, they've always had, of course, Forza at their event, and they've always had a super expensive car just randomly sitting on their stage. But then it was either last year or 2 years ago when Forza did the Lego Movie DLC, where they released Lego versions of a bunch of cars. They actually got the master builders to take a Bugatti or Ferrari or whatever frame. And they just built a car around it using Legos. I don't know if it actually ran or not, but the wheels were Legos, the engine was Legos, the doors were Like
That thing
it was
would
a
crumble in
Bugatti?
a second.
I don't
though,
know if it was. I don't remember what kind of car it was.
Bro, I just want to see them like smack that bitch against a wall.
Yeah.
So,
And just, like, watch
yeah,
the
do
Legos go
the
everywhere.
like automobile crash test. See what kind of star rating the Lego car gets.
Dude, like I don't know what to happen. Like you get shredded up inside of a Lego car. Like it's just Legos smashing into
Well, yeah,
your body.
you crash and it's just like stepping on Legos with bare feet. That's all it feels like.
Except everywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
except everywhere.
and
It's
they're
all over your
also
body.
actual Legos. Like,
Yeah.
It's not glass. It's Legos, my nigga.
Yeah.
Oh, what was I gonna say?
Yeah, what's
So,
up?
Coffee, with you being a car guy,
Yeah.
how do you feel about Elon Musk's new Cybertruck? Have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
Well, at this point, it's not technically new. I mean, it's new in the sense that it's not releasing for another year.
I'm gonna just put it like
I don't
this. Whatever Elon Musk does, I'm down with. Like, I mean, I was a little skeptical about the brain thing.
All right, check this
But-
out. It's a truck.
Wait a minute, let me see that motherfucker.
Well, have you not actually seen the design at
no,
this point?
I have not. This is the first
You
time.
haven't? This is the first time you've seen the
Yes.
Cybertruck?
Yes, this is the first time me seeing. What is this, bro? It's like a GTA car, like, but like,
What do you mean
Like a GTA 3 car?
Yeah, like San Andreas.
No, this ain't even
It's a
GTA
box
3.
car.
This is GTA 2. This is the first time they use a 3D engine. That's what this
Yeah,
is.
no.
nah, bro.
This is the
that's
kind of
straight-
car you drew in kindergarten.
That's straight out of Tron Legacy. That's
Well, no, that's the weird thing is that like you look at that car and the first instance you see in your mind is, oh, I drew that in like the first grade. This is how I drew cars in the first grade.
But
then
it's
you
also
think about
like
it more
Blade
and-
Runner-esque.
Well, yeah, that's what I was about to say. It's like every sci-fi movie that has a car, that's what cars look like.
it looks like whoever's riding in that is like bumping like new age retro music.
Well, what I
Here,
was
just
also
scroll through while we're talking.
what I was also gonna say is that it's actually kind of smart that they went with that design for one reason. The truck market is a very defined market.
Yeah, the most like
It's
trucks.
89% male, and it's like
But
they're,
I know how it is, but like I'm down with this as an idea, but like the back is just it's hideous.
you can put solar
don't-
panels on the back. Literally, you can get a special upgrade where the back actually like rolls out like a projector screen and it's solar panels, and it can add to how much you can drive per day.
Bro, that's like practical as fuck.
Yeah, no. Well, okay. Here's what I was gonna say is like the truck market is 89% male, and they are so brand loyal. So if you get someone that buys like a Ford F-150 as like a teenager,
Bro.
you can expect them to have an F-150 the entirety of their life because they are that brand loyal already from the beginning. So the only way Tesla that can come into a market that is that condensed and that precise is to make something completely out of left field. They could not come in with a truck that looked like a truck.
No, they couldn't.
There was no way they could get any form of market share coming in with a truck that looked normal. So I commend
It's the
them.
most badass
like,
truck to me.
I bet people are talking about it though. Like,
Oh, yeah, no.
people.
Oh, well, there's two reasons they're talking about. One, the look, and second, their on-stage demonstration because it's supposed to be made out, it's supposed to
forgot
be
about
made
that.
out of super glass. Like the glass in the car is supposed to be able to withstand a ton of pressure. Like it's on the verge of being bulletproof. So on stage, they took giant steel ball bearings and threw it at the glass, and it shattered twice on stage. And it was supposed to not shatter. And Elon
supposed
Musk
to like bounce off.
yeah. So Elon Musk was like, "Oh fuck, that was not supposed to happen. I guess we need to do some more R&D." But then Elon Musk released later. He was like, "This is literally what was happening right before the press conference." And they were showing them throwing the steel ball bearings even harder at the windows, and they were just bouncing off like gumballs. So like someone brought up the good point is like if this is the only prototype they had, or like one of the only like this is their show prototype, if they had been testing this all day, throwing those steel bar bearings at the windows, it could have caused microfractures to the point where it was literally while they were testing it on the verge of breaking, and then on stage that was the breaking point, and it just happened to be such bad dumb luck.
That's fair, but
Hey, can you talk into the mic?
that's fair.
Thanks, man. I just need to be able to hear you.
Yeah,
I
appreciate that,
understand.
dog.
We're as deaf as our. I'm not gonna say it. I can't insult our audience. Our audience has at least 20/20 hearing. That's how that works.
Maybe.
I'm sorry I've pushed you into a corner. If you need to just do your thing.
No, it's okay.
Look, I get it. Having a guest on here isn't the most optimal experience, but you know, we got to work with what we
Bro,
got.
I'm not even gonna lie. Just first time being on a show like this.
Yeah.
I have to burp a lot, bro. Like,
Bro, it's okay. I do it all-
Wait a second. Welcome to the fucking club. Every guest we fucking have is burped into the mic.
It's okay. Go
Bro,
ahead. I do it all the time.
All right.
Yeah.
I just been blowing them to the side, but now I'm just finna rip them because like
Yeah, no, literally, it's Fish's like shtick. Every time we record, he has to at least get one in there. I don't
don't purposely do it. It just ends up happening.
see. I don't believe that.
I promise you.
The point that we started calling it a shtick, I believe that you started preparing to do it.
No.
Yeah.
That
Disagree.
I can see the lot. I can
He's
see,
lying.
bro.
Lies.
I'm the most truthful person
Lies.
here.
Okay.
Oh my
I
goodness.
got
What's
a
up?
question though.
Yeah, what's up?
I got
How's
a
it
real
going?
question. All right, so
Is it
for
about
pe-
cars?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
for people who don't really like cars like that, I mean, like, if you had to choose a favorite car right now, like, what would your favorite car be?
Honestly,
In what sort of way? In like
And all around, like you just
what
you
do I
can't-
want
you
in the
can't stop
future?
thinking about it. Like that's the car you think about the most.
honestly, like a Tesla.
yeah, no, I was about to say a Tesla. In all honesty,
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, I feel that.
like for me, I'm not super into like supercars or anything like that. So
Mhm.
I'm not thinking about Porsches,
I mean, I'm down-
Ferraris,
yeah.
fucking Bugattis and stuff. I'm not.
Well, also Tesla, if you want that speed, already fucking has it.
It's torquey, bro.
Yeah.
It's quicker than it is fast though. Like
My thing,
Like it can just get up to a speed
yeah,
fast,
it'll get
but
to the speed.
but
the
it can't go
fastest.
very
Yeah,
fast.
but
And
they're
I-
gonna catch them in like a mile.
I feel you.
like I talked about this with Teslas. It's like I would love to have a Tesla, but there's a certain point it has to reach, which they technically just reached with the truck. But I need to wait for it to happen with the cars. My limit is a Tesla will become my dream car once it can drive 500 miles.
Like a standard like gas tank, essentially.
No, unless you're driving a fucking Prius. Most gas tanks can't
Or
make it
like-
to 500 miles.
or like 400 is it?
Right now, my tank hits like around 400.
That's around what mine does.
425 or whatever. Like, I don't know any car besides like a Prius that hits 500 miles to the gallon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, or not miles to the gallon, but miles to tank.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know of any car that hits that sweet spot. The problem is that when you're talking about an electric vehicle and how much you have to pause to charge and stuff like that, I have to hold it to a higher standard than gas vehicles just for the sole fact that, like, if I'm going to have to pause for 30 minutes to an hour to charge the battery every time I run out of juice instead of the 5 to 10 minutes it does to fill up the pump, there has to be some upside.
Yeah. No,
And
I
if that's
understand.
100 miles, I'm fine with that. Because, like, at that point, I've already had to fill up my tank twice, and then it's like additively, and with how much money you save, being it's like, oh, it took me 13 cents to charge my car versus, oh, it took me $25 to fill my tank.
See, I just want to be able to have like self-driving, in all honesty.
Yeah, and that'd be like a fluent thing that's
Yeah.
happening instead of people just falling off like ledges because them bitches don't turn.
Well,
well.
also the fact that people like trust them too much.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I drive a whole lot. I travel from like my
Yeah.
Here to there.
hometown to here.
Yeah.
Nah.
So like just sitting there on the interstate, I would just like to be able to like for like a few minutes just
Well,
be
that-
able to relax.
Well, that's what's crazy to me is like some people push their Teslas to such an extreme or whatever. But for me, like the whole autopilot thing, that sounds perfect for just straight away interstate roads.
That's what I'm talking about, bro.
I wouldn't do it in my like small backwoods fucking country hometown roads. I wouldn't be doing it when there's road construction. I wouldn't even be doing it exiting the interstate or whatever. I don't want it to drive for me. I want it to take the stress out of driving on long straightaways.
Yeah, no, exactly.
That's my big thing. That's the only reason I want autopilot, and they keep adding all these new features it can detect fucking traffic cones, so if there's road work, you don't have to worry about random lane switches or anything like that. And I'm like, for me personally, I wouldn't even be using it in that instance. For me, I would use it once I'm on the highway, it's a straightaway, and it's like, okay, I'm in that mode where I'm like tunnel vision, I'm focused on the road, and that's about it. Let's just drive.
Yeah, no.
That'd be my whole autopilot situation.
Do you think that if when cars get better or the self-driving gets better, that the worry of drunk driving will be eliminated?
Because now you can just get hammered on the road and be all right.
You can get
See,
hammered
okay.
and just press like home, and then
Well, the
like,
thing is
car will
that
drive you
in
home.
certain markets, they're testing like driverless taxis and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've heard that isn't Uber doing that?
I don't think it's Uber, but I know there's like companies testing it now. I don't think it's Uber, but no, I see that's kind of a tricky subject because if they're driving themselves, like if they just start autopilot, if they're drunk, like what's the chance of them just being like they see something on the road that's not there and they grab the wheel instinctually?
Yeah,
like that doesn't stop that.
That's fair.
I feel like it would only decrease drunk drivingness if it was a self-driven taxi, but at that point, why not just have a driver?
Unless like they put like some way to contain the wheel while that person.
See, but that raises such a major like safety issue. That
but if you just when it gets to, I'm talking about when it gets to the point where like,
is it gonna fucking give you a breathalyzer test? Like,
no, not that. I'm talking about like, you don't have to necessarily worry about like it messing up.
See, I don't think we're anywhere near that. I don't think that's in our lifetime.
I'm just saying in the future when that does happen, do you think that?
I don't think the government would ever allow that. I honestly don't. I don't think they would allow it to the point where they would just be like, yeah, humans can't be trusted to drive. I don't think we'll ever get to that point.
No,
there is always going to have to be human interaction when it comes to a machine.
Yeah.
Because we've just learned how that just goes way downhill in science fiction films.
Yeah. And plus, like, if say we go to like, we're in like some disputes with other countries and then like just willy-nilly, they just like, we're going to hijack their
we're going to hack your cars.
We're going to hack your cars.
And then we have a generation of people that never learn how to drive because autopilot's a thing. And then all of a sudden, oh, no one has any transportation. We're all just sitting ducks.
See?
Yeah.
Huh. You guys have blown my mind. You changed my mind on the subject.
Yeah. I thought about that too a lot, bro. I was like, if it did happen, like that's what would be my biggest fear. Would just something, or some person would fuck with the safety of it. They would hack it, and then they would just like, this is my diabolical plan. I'm gonna crash all the cars.
Yeah, they would just put on an update and be like, hey, if you're near a cliff, drive towards it.
Or turn off all the collision parameters for.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's one of those things where like we're going into this technological future when it comes to automobiles, which we're already at. Like people hack cars all the time, even not being Teslas or electric vehicles and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like cars are hacked all the time in today's day and age. So it's one of those things where it's like we have to be careful with that stuff, and I think that comes back to
you ever hotwire a car?
What?
You ever hotwire a car?
No. I've never hotwired a car. The only car I've ever been in is my own.
That's not true. You've been in my car.
I drove your old car, but that was due to like dire circumstances.
What were you saying though about hotwiring a car?
Yeah. Have you ever hotwired a car?
Yeah.
I mean, I expect this is a fucking car guru coming in here.
But it's just like it wasn't on no. I'm jacking somebody's shit. I was like an old car sitting in a field type deal.
You know, growing up in a small farm town and stuff like that.
I think my grandpa used to do that with one of his old like farm trucks.
Yeah. It was the only way to get him going.
Yeah.
It's like it's at a certain point you just lose the key.
You lose the key, or for some reason like the ignition quits working.
Yeah, you just gotta go with it.
You just gotta go ahead and pop them wires.
Yeah.
I've never understood how that works. So, like, is it just like
I'm sure it's a lot harder than what you see in action movies. Is it just connecting
the circuit that the like ignition would?
So yeah, basically like it's just telling like the computer in the car.
Okay.
To like turn on, like how it would with because like with the key you're just connecting those wires.
So you're just taking those two wires that would
that's
be connected.
What the ignition is. You're just turning it, and it would.
So you're taking those two wires and then you connecting it, and that
it's basically the same thing, but you just cut it in a different place and like pop it.
Huh.
No more, you know. Now I know if I'm ever broken down on the side of the road, I accidentally toss my key out the window. I know what to do.
Or if you accidentally flush your keys down the toilet.
Yeah, unless you accidentally flush your keys down the toilet. Hint, hint, someone on this podcast has done that. Not going to name names, but Fisher is his name.
That happened once.
Is that why they call you Fisher?
No, that's how
it's Fisher for them keys.
Fisher for them keys.
I still remember that day. It was the most hilarious fucking day.
I was so fucking mad, bro. I was at it was the thrift store.
the thrift store of our town starts with an M and ends with K's.
Oh, McKay's?
Yeah, McKay's. We were
I don't know why
McKay's,
you didn't
and
want to say that.
I don't know either. But I was at McKay's and I went to the bathroom and I was wearing a hoodie and my keys were in the hoodie. And I was taking a shit.
Oh, fish.
And it was one of those high-powered auto flushes.
Oh.
So I stood up, and as soon as I stood up, my keys fell in the toilet.
And sucked down the drain?
And before I could even turn around, they flushed away.
Oh,
it's literally it's so crazy to me. It is so crazy to me the luck you have with stuff like that.
You hate to see it, folks.
Right?
Like it makes zero sense to me. Like
and
in my
you
brain,
just shit it, dude. Like god damn.
It's just like even if you would have grabbed those keys, you ran the risk of reaching in and just grabbing a fucking
A
turd.
handful of shit.
Yeah, like you literally ran that risk. But but it's like out of everyone I know, the only person that could ever happen to is you.
Yeah,
It's
I ain't never heard no
unfortunate.
shit like that before. It's like you on some other shit right there with that one. Cause like, wait a minute, I don't even see how like you stood up. Did it fall between your legs?
So it wasn't
It was
like
in
it's
his
not a
hoodie
hoodie
pocket.
like you're wearing.
Uh-huh.
It was like one of the ones that zip in the middle. So the pockets.
It was a jacket.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
jacket. My bad.
It was a zip up.
So the pocket was kind of like
Uh-huh.
hanging a little bit, and I guess my keys were just.
Dangling.
I guess so.
And
I
would they
didn't
fall out-
notice.
Well, it's kind of weird because like all the hoodies and jackets that I own that have those pockets, I don't think I've ever actually kept anything in those. Those have always been hand warmers for me.
Mhm.
Anything that I've like kept on me has always been in my pants pockets or my shorts pockets. I don't think in my entire life, I don't think I've ever actually kept anything in my hoodie pocket. It's always been a hand warming spot
Let
for
me
me.
see.
And I'm looking over.
I have something.
I'm looking over Coffee right now, and I can see stuff in his pocket. He has his phone.
My phone was in my hoodie pocket.
Do you normally keep your phone there though?
I don't really know, man. Like I be losing
Yeah,
shit.
You guys are too many.
We're on the
Well,
same
yeah, I was about to say,
wavelength.
you guys
over
are
there.
you guys
I
are in the
lose.
same boat.
No, I don't be losing shit like that. Not that dramatically. It
Well,
just
no,
be
I-
like I left it
out of
on
everyone,
somebody.
I mean, I lose a lot of
Yeah,
shit.
no,
just
out of
in
anyone I
general.
know, the person that loses their stuff the most, just like they could set it down, walk away for 30 seconds, and then lose it for 3 hours, is Fish.
Like if
That's
you
happened to
set
me
it
a
down,
lot.
it will literally vanish.
Yeah,
into-
no. I've never met another person like I mean I lose stuff from time to time, but
This
I've
is-
never met someone who does it so
This is
consistently.
completely off topic.
Yo, what's up?
But have you ever lost something, went looking for something, found something that you had lost before and like put it somewhere else? And you're like, oh, I remember I needed this. And then when you actually go back to the thing you needed, it's not there.
Wait a second. Before you answer this, because I actually have a very good story about this too, it's time for an ad break. Look, Fish, I need to know something. I need to know. Have you
What?
heard?
Yeah,
You have?
I
Are you sure?
Possibly. You can tell me though.
Have you heard of Anchor?
Like the thing that's on like boats.
No. Anchor. It's the easiest way to make a podcast. I'll let you explain. You said you knew about it.
Oh yeah. I remember now.
Okay.
It's free.
It's free?
Yeah, there's
Like
free-
absolutely free, no charge.
no charge.
Uh-huh.
There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer
Wait, phone? You can just pull out your phone
and edit your podcast right from it. And
That's
record it.
wild. That's absolutely wild. What else does it do?
Well, you can distribute your podcast, or Anchor will distribute your podcast for you.
Where?
So it can be heard on Spotify,
Spotify?
Apple Podcasts,
Apple Podcasts?
and anywhere else. Many more.
Wait, so like Google Podcasts and all of those, you can hear it using
Oh, yeah.
Anchor? Oh my, really? What else do they do?
You can make money from your own podcast with no minimum listenership.
No minimum listenership? Are you
Yeah,
kidding me?
man.
You can just make money from making a podcast? I
Yeah,
didn't know
man.
you could do that.
It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place.
Wait, so you're telling me that if our listeners want to make a podcast, all they have to do is download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm and get started and make their own podcast?
Yes, that's all they have to do is
That's all they have to
download
do?
the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
That's absolutely wild. What a great steal.
What a great steal.
And welcome back, everybody. Kaylin, please answer the question. If you don't remember it before the ad break, Fish basically asked, have you ever lost something, gone looking for it, and then realized you put it somewhere completely else afterwards, but it like a long time afterwards?
No. If I have done that, it's still there.
You know, I feel that way about certain items, but there is one in particular in my life that to this day I cannot believe that this was like held against me. Like to give you some context, it wasn't a Game Boy SP. It was the original Game Boy Advance.
Mm-hmm.
The one that had no backlight, so it's similar to
Was
all
it
the
the purple one?
No, I had the gray one.
Oh, okay.
I had the fucking gray Game Boy Advance. But I was in, I think, elementary school at the time. And me and my family went to a high school basketball game. Just as like a little family excursion or whatever. And I remember this vividly. For whatever reason, I was playing Finding Nemo on the Game Boy. Don't know why. But I was playing that. And of course, I had my little Game Boy pouch with all my games. I had my Game Boy.
Yeah.
And all I remember is I accidentally left it at the game. And I was in the car, bawling my eyes out. My mom was like, you shouldn't have forgot it. We're not turning back. Yada, yada, yada.
Oh, I hated that, bro. Like,
all right.
Sad
why
as
can't we
shit.
turn back? I'm a child, but I'm a human
here's
too.
the fucking kicker of the story. 10 years later, my mom was cleaning out her closet and she pulls down this box and she opens it and guess what's inside?
Your game?
My Game Boy, the case and all of my games. And she's like, oh, we noticed that she was like, oh my gosh, I still have this. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And she's like, we saw that you left at the game, so we grabbed it to like teach you a lesson. I guess we forgot to give it back to you. And I'm like, this was 10 years ago.
Like,
That's fucked up.
Fuck. Pokemon, no.
Literally, my entire Game Boy collection. Like, I had gotten the SP like that Christmas following
Bro,
with like a few new
about
but it's still like one of those things where like 5 to 10 Game Boy games, my Game Boy Advance, and like my carrying case, like the things I held dear to me, they saw me leave it at the game, said, oh, we're going to teach him a lesson for a day. Like, keep it from me for like a day to really let it fester about, oh, I need to hang on to my belongings better. Like, I need to hold them dear to my heart. And then they just forgot.
Days
and then
turns
10
into months.
years later.
Months turn into years.
Yeah.
Years
10 of
turns
those
into-
years, boy.
Yeah,
10 of
10
them.
fucking
Year
years
turns
later.
into a decade.
Yeah, they find
Look.
my mom's cleaning out her closet of all her junk, and then all of a sudden she finds a box of all the things that she's like taken away from us and then forgot to give back. Then
Oh
I'm
my
just
God.
like, man,
why would
what?
she even have a box like that?
I don't even know.
I
It
feel
was
like when you would look in the box for one time, you would just remember to give everything
Well,
back.
the weirdest thing about it is like back when I was a kid and they used to ground me and take stuff away, they would never hide it like that. Like the way that they always did is that there was like a very tall like dresser drawers
and they'd put
in
it
their
up
room.
on
And
top.
they would just put it up on top and then like you would see it every time you walk by their room. It's like, man, I wish I had that. Man, like it would just fester because you could see it. And it's like,
I wish I had that motherfucker.
yeah, it's like, oh, it's within grasp. I can fucking,
I can see it,
literally,
but I can't touch
stand
it.
on my tippy toes and I could grab it and I could just have it back. But
Literally,
of course, you knew if you did that, you would lose it for
literally,
longer.
the voice actor of your child self is like an adult version of yourself.
But it's
Deep
like,
ass voice.
but so it was kind of weird because my parents never went to those lengths of like actually hiding the things that they took away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I understand in that one instance because they took it in the sense of like teaching me about personal belongings, but because they were different than how they would normally take stuff away from us. They forgot completely about it, and then 10 years later, they find it. The fucking Game Boy's corroded because the batteries in it have rusted,
Fuck.
and then like it's just like I never beat half of these games because I thought they were taken.
Man.
It was the same. Oh, what was? I think my sister pulled the same nonsense to me because I had accidentally left her DS somewhere when I had actually accidentally left it in the car, and she found it and she wanted to make me feel bad, so she hid it in a box under her bed, and then we were
Forgot about it?
Yeah, no, and then we were cleaning out her room. We found.
you trying to tell me she hit her own DS?
Yeah, from herself.
Instead of just playing it?
Yeah, I don't understand it.
To blame it on you and
Yeah, no,
said that you
spite
lost
right
it.
there.
Yeah, and I got in so much
That's real
trouble
spite.
for it. But it was also one of those things where she was getting to that age where she just was kind of growing out of playing the DS or whatever.
So
But it was still
she
to the
forgot
point where
about
we
it.
were literally cleaning out her bedroom and we found the box and we opened it and it just had the DS inside. And I just looked at her. Her eyes were super wide. And she looked back at me and I was like, what the fuck?
Why does my family keep doing this to me?
I was like, I got grounded for this shit and it's been in a box under your bed. You
Every
made
box
me-
has a Nintendo item in it.
every box has a fucking portable Nintendo Game Boy in it.
Bruh,
And
I got
no
a
one
similar
told me.
story like that, but mine's a little different. So like, all right, I remember one year, I think I was in the 2nd grade, and like,
Is this a sibling story?
no, this is about me.
Oh,
This is
okay.
about me and the Game Boy SP.
I was about to say if this whole part of the podcast is
Game
all about
Boys.
like family sibling stuff, Fish is gonna be just left out. He's gonna have to tell some
I
funny
have
stuff.
no siblings.
He's got no
so-
siblings. He can't tell any of these stories.
Oh no, this is about me.
The only-
So you can relate. You
Yeah,
can relate to this.
yeah, you can relate with it just being yourself.
All right, so look, in the 2nd grade, like I had got the Game Boy SP. I remember that motherfucker. It was like it
Bro.
was the red one too. I was like, yeah.
I had the blue one,
Yes,
I
I
had the gray one.
Right.
the trifecta.
My
Triad.
grandma had bought it for me, and like I was going to school in Houston at the time.
Yeah,
So like I had brought it to school, but I didn't even show nobody that I had. Well, wait a minute. Actually, I did. I think that's what young me fucked up, where he brought the
Showed
SP
someone.
into the bathroom. Yeah, I remember now that I brought it into the bathroom, showed everybody I had that bitch, and put it back in my backpack. Went back to school because I was just playing it on the breaks,
Yeah.
and like, bro, I had went back in my backpack like at the end of the day to go reach the play because I was gonna get on the bus
yeah.
and be
It
playing.
wasn't there, was it?
It was not there, cuz it was not there. Somebody took that bitch. And you want to know something?
What?
My teacher. Because I thought I could trust her. I'm in the 2nd grade. I was like, oh, there's something wrong happened in the classroom. Who do I go to? The teacher. So I went to the teacher and I was just like, hey, something in my backpack that belonged to me is not there no more. And then so basically she had hounded the whole class. Yeah, I know, right? I can already hear the black demographic snitch ass nigga. And I was like, no. That's a Game Boy, cuz like that was mine.
It's precious to you.
It was
You're
precious.
You're in
So-
2nd grade.
So she had called my mom about it. And then like I got home. I was in so much fucking trouble. Like I was like,
Yeah,
they
'cause-
stole it from me. Like, why am I
So-
in trouble? You know what I'm
Why
saying?
were you in trouble for bringing it? Or?
Because I brought it to school and
And that's-
lost it.
yeah, and then lost it. No, that'd be the same stuff that would happen to me.
Yeah.
And now that you bring that up, I have very interesting like elementary school stories when it comes to that.
Same. I have one that involves Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
See, I don't have any that involve.
I was handing them junts out like it was
I don't.
nothing.
Okay, I do kind of have one that relates to like video games and like losing something in a sense. I think it was in the 5th grade. I have some very interesting now that you talk about 2nd grade, I have some very interesting 2nd grade topics.
That was
that
the only thing I remember from the 2nd grade.
That
I
I can-
think that was in 2nd grade too.
Well, I can kind of get into it. I'll like do a lot of like I'll do some very short stories here.
You good? Go.
So in the 5th grade, of course, I was getting out of that. I had DS, so I was getting into that whole like getting out of Game Boy type
Yeah.
phase. So I had Mario Kart Super Circuit on the Game Boy.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it. For whatever reason, my 5th grade dumbass said, "You know what? Let's treat Game Boy games like fucking Pokemon cards. Let's trade them."
So you traded Game Boy games with people?
Yeah. So I decided, you know what's going to be a good trade? Let's trade Super Mario Kart for the fucking Game Boy for a series that I knew nothing about, a SpongeBob Game Boy game. I traded away Super Mario Kart, a game that I cherished and I beloved, for a Game Boy game that not only had I had no interest in,
But
but it was
hated-
based off a series that I have never seen.
Did
You never
like the
seen
game, though?
SpongeBob?
I've seen clips of SpongeBob, but I
Mhm.
never have gone out of my way to watch
Bro,
SpongeBob.
Early SpongeBob, season 1 through 5, or just it's gold. It's comedy gold.
But no, so
Top tier.
but that's not even the worst part. I got home, I put this game into my Game Boy, and I guess the boy fucking put a magnet up to it because it was completely corrupted. It would not play.
Oh.
It was one of those things where like you would see SpongeBob, he would move across the screen, but then you would see every frame of SpongeBob that came before him. It was unplayable.
Oh,
like
yeah.
the screen would move,
So he-
but
I know what he did. He put it in the washing machine and let it, and he dried it and it fried it.
I honestly, to this point,
It had to.
that's literally the thing that's like upset me the most with my Game Boy career. Is the fact that I traded those two games for no apparent reason, and then I got a busted game, and then I was like, "Hey, can I have my Super Mario Kart back?" And he said, "No,
Hey,
fair trade." And I was like, "Damn, I just got sucked into capitalism."
you know, there's a word for that type of event right there.
What is that?
Yo, what's up?
Jabroni. Because why would you? It wasn't even like a Game Boy game. It was just like a series poster game.
Yeah,
they're just like, we're gonna release this. Why did that even appetize you?
I know. I was dumb in the 5th grade, but man, was I dumber in the 2nd grade. So okay, my 2nd grade teacher was weird. Like I was invited over to my 2nd grade teacher's house at a certain point.
Alone?
No, not alone. Like my mom was a teacher, so they like had a little powwow or whatever.
I thought he was gonna be like, yeah, alone.
But I like met her
Just
son.
with my teacher and like a camera.
Weird.
So weird.
No, but like
I brought the
my
camera.
2nd grade teacher had
Wait.
my 2nd grade teacher had a older son, or well, not like older than me, but like he was super into like the Tim Burton Batmans or whatever.
Mhm.
And all I remember from his room is it was completely decked out in like Tim Burton Batman. And I just remember there being like pillars of like copies and copies and copies of just Batman. Like no matter what Tim Burton Batman's animated series, no, it was just all Batman. That's like the one thing I super remember. But the reason I bring it has no correlation to anything else I'm talking about. But just
Yeah.
like this was the weird relationship I had. Like, of course, my mom being a teacher, I just had really weird relationships with teachers growing up.
Oh, same. My mom was also a teacher.
But my 2nd grade teacher was the kind of person that she caught someone sleeping in the room. Mind you, 2nd grade, she threw a textbook at their head.
I've done that.
As a 2nd grade teacher,
No, but I've thrown a book at
I mean,
somebody's head.
I understand that, but it's like a 70 to 75-year-old 2nd grade teacher throwing a book at like an 11-year-old's head because they're sleeping in class.
Wait a minute, is that 2nd grade? I don't think 11 is 2nd grade.
Still,
11
the age
is
That's
guy-
6th grade.
Yeah.
Bro, I don't fucking know. I don't know what age I am. Who knows? Okay, fine. Let's make it even worse. Fucking throwing a fucking book at. Let's see. If 5 is kindergarten, a 7-year-old, a 70-year-old throwing a book at a 7-year-old.
Yeah.
Like that's fucked up in my head.
Look,
Yeah.
when she was teaching in 19 whatever.
Well, it don't matter. Regardless, the bitch was on some foul shit, but at the same time,
But
you
so
should have
like,
dodged that book.
I mean, it wasn't at me. I watched it be thrown.
Oh, I thought it was at you.
No.
Well, the kid
No, I
should
was-
have fucking made his QuickTime event.
Yeah,
Yeah, he should have
been
pressed the
ready.
A button on time to catch the book in midair. But
Right.
this is the weird interaction I had with my 2nd grade teacher, and there was a certain point in my 2nd grade career that like really got me to just be like, man, I really just don't care about school. I feel like I'm too, like I was always the kid that I was born 2 days before the like cutoff
Yeah.
for kids. So when I was in 2nd grade, I probably should have been in 3rd grade.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I was always like ahead of my studies and stuff like that because I was born 2 days too early in a sense.
Yeah, no,
Or
I get
no,
you.
it was 2 days too late because cut off. But I had a friend that played at you guys know Toontown?
Oh,
Bruh,
God.
yeah,
Not Toontown.
Bro, not Toontown, guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
So from kindergarten to 2nd grade, my life was a lie. I
He
lived a
lived
lie.
on Toontown. His
Oh my god.
No. It was the exact
Wait a minute.
opposite.
Did you ever have to give like money to Toontown?
No. Well,
Okay.
yeah, you did. It was like a paid subscription type deal.
Yeah, I think that's.
And
why
then it
they didn't-
became free.
Yeah.
But at this time it was pay to play. I lived a lie. One of my best friends played Toontown,
Mhm.
and I started making up a lie saying I also played Toontown. I came up with names. I was a blue dog with rounded ears. I watched the commercials. I had an entire backstory for my character. I described it to a T.
Off the commercial.
Yeah. And I lied to my best friend for 2 years up until the 2nd grade
That doesn't sound like a best friend to me.
Yeah, sounds like a dusty friend right there.
But here's the worst part is that his mom also played Toontown to make sure he was like being safe online, like being like a guardian angel.
So she was a secret character?
Yeah, so she kept talking about how like
you should put that in perspective though. Like anybody could have been doing that.
Fucked up in perspective, but she kept saying how you should just meet us why meet us here blah blah blah. We should meet up in game yada yada. Be like I'm just trying to get these two best friends to play online together, and I just didn't. The thing was
like quit saying anything.
Yeah, I was like
blow my cover.
Yeah, I was just like, man, I just don't want to feel left out or anything like that. That was my big shtick. I was like, I don't want to feel left out. I want to be cool. I want to play Toontown or whatever. But I remember and I don't even remember how this correlated, but I remember we were sitting at lunch and we were talking about Toontown or whatever. And it was pizza day. It was those fucking rectangular pizza days.
Bruh.
It was pizza.
The lunches.
It was fucking pizza, sweet corn, and salad.
Ugh.
But the salad was like straw carrots and lettuce. That's it. That's all that came in the salad.
That's gross.
No dressing, no nothing. It was like iceberg lettuce and straw carrots. And
I remember that though.
Yeah, so we were sitting there and I like being best friends with this kid for 2 years. I knew that the boy didn't eat vegetables. Okay?
Okay.
He ate his pizza and that's all he ate on his tray. And we were just chatting Toontown or whatever. And I wasn't even thinking. All I remember is that I liked vegetables. So I reached over and stole one of those little tiny ass straw carrots from his tray and I ate it. The boy watched me, wide-eyed. I know he doesn't. In horror, literally. He knows he doesn't like vegetables. He like gags at the sight of vegetables. He watched me eat this carrot. He starts bawling out his eyes.
Like crying?
Yeah, straight up crying that I stole his food. And I just look at him and I'm just like, bro.
This had to be like first, second grade here.
It was second grade.
He started crying?
He started crying. And I look at him I'm like, my man.
No, you gotta grab him by the shirt right there as a friend. Your 2-year-old self. Just like, hey man, don't let them see you cry. If they see you cry, man, they think you're weak.
I looked over him and I just straight up, I was like, bro, you don't like vegetables. I'm gonna eat your salad because I know you won't. And
he's like, you didn't ask me first though.
Yeah, no, literally.
You didn't ask me for something I don't want.
Yeah, no, literally. So I got in trouble for it. Of course, the teachers that are like the overseers of the lunchroom.
Yeah.
Tell my second grade teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom's a kindergarten teacher in the same school. So my second grade teacher sends me off to my mom. Literally, no principal, no reprimanding in class. She sends me to my mother. The worst fate anyone could ever live. So I go into my mom's room and of course I feel sick to my stomach because I'm like, bro. I was like,
my mom's finding out about this.
Well, it wasn't even that. I was just dumbfounded. I was getting in trouble for eating the man's salad that he wasn't going to eat.
Not even a salad, just like a straw.
Yeah, I was like a straw fucking.
You were
carrot.
in a buddy moment. You were just like,
yeah, I was in a buddy moment. I was talking about.
All of a sudden, you just getting barked at.
Yeah, I was talking about Toontown. I was living my life, and all of a sudden, I'm getting in trouble for eating a carrot straw. Did you immediately
tell him you were lying to him after that?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, hey, I just want you to know, fuck Toontown.
Toontown fucking
I ain't even
sucks.
played that shit.
Yeah, as I was getting in trouble, I was like, I just need you to know something. I don't even know what the fuck. I don't even know the keyboard bindings for Toontown.
Yeah, I don't even know.
So I get sent to my mom and I go in there. Of course, I'm feeling sick to my stomach because I'm just so dumbfounded that I got in trouble for this. And so my mom's like, why are you here? And I was like, and she's like, what's wrong? She was like, she could tell I felt uncomfortable. I was like, I just feel sick. She's like, oh, are you okay? I was like, no, I'm not okay. So she goes over, she gets one of those kindergarten rest mats. She puts it behind her desk. She's like, lay down. I'll go get you a Sprite. So I lay down. I just rested there. I'm literally just chilling on the floor on this rest mat. My mom comes back, gives me a Sprite, and I'm just sipping on it. I'm like, oh, I'm sick. I'm so sick, Mom. 45 minutes later, my teacher finally shows up. And she's like, where's Shane at? And my mom's like, oh, he's behind my desk. And she's like, why? And my mom's like, oh, he was feeling sick. And my second grade teacher's like, did he not tell you what he did? and my mom's like, and my mom's like, no, what did he do? My second grade teacher tells her everything that happens, like in detail. My mom just laughs. And she's like, that's it? And my second grade teacher's like, you're not mad? She's like, fuck no. Well, she didn't say fuck, but
of course
in
not.
sentiment. She said, fuck no. And she just sent me back to class. She's like, you're an idiot. Go back to class. I was like, thanks, Mom. Like, I had some really fucking dumb days in elementary school.
Bro, I'm so glad my mom was not a teacher because that would have sucked. Like, my mom gets on my ass. Like, fucking, still to this day, still gets on my ass.
Fourth dumb story of my elementary school career. Going into preschool and elementary school, I thought I was going to have my mom as a kindergarten teacher. Nah, that bitch said, no, I don't want you. I'm giving you to the other one.
Yeah.
She didn't want to teach me.
That's funny.
And to this day, she was like, I just felt like I would be too hard on you. I was like, be too hard on me on what? Fucking writing my name and learning the alphabet? It was kindergarten.
And then she would have turned around, where'd your Game Boy go?
Where'd your Game Boy go? Why'd you leave it at the baseball game?
Do you want that to keep happening? Basketball. I'll be like, where's your homework at? And I know you turned it, but I'm going to say you didn't.
I know you assigned it, but guess what? I don't remember that.
Damn.
That's funny.
Dumb. It's the dumbest stuff I've ever heard. But you know what? It's weird. What's weird is that at the very beginning of this topic, Kaylin talked about the future, and guess what? We never got to.
We never
talked about the future
because we were living in. Well, no, we were talking about the past. I was going to say we were living in the present.
In the past right now.
That conversation about cars totally went.
Yeah, no, it went out the fucking window. We folded the paper airplane. It had cars written on it, and then as soon as we threw it, it went straight to the ground. It was not folded properly.
Went to the toilet and then just
flushed it right down.
Yeah, flushed it right down.
The saddest of days. But with that being said, thank you so much to listening to the MindMesh podcast. If you would like to listen to us more, you can follow us on all major podcast platforms: Apple Music, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor. All of them. You can find us by searching for MindMesh. You'll find our MindMesh movie talks as well. So give us a like, give us a follow. Bro, how about you calm the fuck down? Why are these ghosts trying to activate my phone?
Yeah.
Podcast, Spotify, Anchor, Spotify distribution on Anchor. Thank you, Google Assistant.
Thank you
for giving me the know-how of how to distribute our podcast.
Appreciate that.
Either way.
But if you want to listen to us on YouTube, of course, it's 2 days later for whenever we release on podcast distribution. But with that, my name's Chayton.
I'm Fish. Coffee, you want to plug your stuff?
Yeah, plug your stuff real quick.
Yeah, you go follow me on Instagram at goodmorning_coffee, COFFEY. Go check my videos out. I got more coming on YouTube. Just type in COFFEY and then look for the guy sitting down next to a flare. Like, yeah, you should see that. And also, just if you need any artwork done, just hit me up in my DMs and I'll see what I can do for you.
Hell yeah.
That's the way to do it. But anyways, see you later.
See you guys.
Peace.